So back on Thanksgiving Day, I think it may have actually been in conjunction with the Macy's Day Parade stuff, the Pokemon Company announced that they're going to have a very special celebration planned for Pokemon's 25th anniversary, starting in 2021 with a new logo for it. A just terrible looking logo, if you ask me. I mean, the fact that somebody got paid to design this, that's a travesty, in my opinion. This anniversary is really going to make me feel old, as I have vivid memories of when Pokemon first took the world by storm, but yeah, I wanted to discuss today what we may be in store for, specifically in the video game front for this big anniversary, as I'm sure it's going to have all kinds of stuff going on in the merchandise front with like plush and toys, as well as the card game. But I want to specifically discuss today both what I'd like to see as well as what I think we'll most likely see come out of this, again, in the video game department of Pokemon. Because given we are talking about Nintendo and Pokemon, given recent anniversary celebrations we've had, this may or may not be all that great. So real quick, to start off, I think the most obvious thing, not a new announcement, but new Pokemon Snap will surely be lumped into this when they detail all this anniversary stuff. I think they will include that, even though it was a game that was originally stated for 2020. With it now falling into 2021, it's like, yeah, why wouldn't you just include it in everything? So I expect them to act like that was the plan all along, and maybe they will do some cool extra stuff for that release now. I am really excited for this one, honestly, more than I've been for a Pokemon game in a long time. I know Snap isn't everyone's favorite spin-off for Pokemon, especially if you didn't grow up with it, but I have so much nostalgia for that original N64 game, and I think this new one looks fantastic. I mean, this looks like what an actual next-gen Pokemon game should look like, in my opinion. But yeah, I think now, given the situation, new Pokemon Snap will be positioned as being a part of all these anniversary festivities. So on to more actual predictions. Nintendo has been loving their anniversary retro releases lately, as I alluded to. We obviously got the 3D All-Stars Mario Collection, more recently the Fire Emblem's 30th anniversary, and so I think it's very likely we'll see something similar with Pokemon. There was actually a supposed leak not too long ago that detailed such a collection. I believe it said games from the first 3 generations of Pokemon will be included, which that leak itself seemed pretty fake, honestly, but at the same time, I would expect there to be a collection like that, and I would assume that it would probably involve the first 3 generations. Now, the cool thing I would think to do, especially since they will likely charge full price for this thing, would be to include remake versions, Leaf Green, Soul Silver, Omega Ruby, etc. Get them all polished up in HD. And I can already hear people in the comments, oh, but ChiGuy, that's like actual work making them in HD. Oh, the dual screen stuff. They'd have to make it so it makes sense as a single screen experience. I know, Nintendo defenders, oh my god, especially the Pokemon fanboys, I know it makes you scared whenever someone suggests that these poor little biggest companies in Japan should do some actual work on the games they port and charge an arm and a leg for, but I think those games could be brought over to the Switch better than ever, honestly, without too much struggle, and a collection like that of the remake versions, I think would be actually a solid value if they charged $60 for it. Like, I'd think that's a pretty good deal, which tells me that's probably not at all what they're going to do. Like, if we're making Nintendo Switch collection predictions, I think the smart money at this point is expecting them to be as bare bones as possible. I assume that we'll get a collection and they will be pretty much straight emulated versions of the original releases of these games, like we got with 3D All-Stars. Which, it's not like I find that to be bad in itself. Like, I'd be happy just to have the games to play on Nintendo Switch, but also, like 3D World, I think that would feel like a pretty weak celebration of the history of this franchise. And if you're going to do those older versions, I think you should at least include all the games from each gen, like put red and blue on there, silver and gold, but I think you'll end up just getting, honestly, one from each. Maybe you'll end up with, a yellow type deal as the game, But yeah, given the way things have been with these collections, I don't see there being much of a change for Pokemon, especially as a franchise itself that's been pretty famous lately for doing the bare minimum. Would love to be proven wrong on that, but yeah, I do think we're going to get a collection, but I think its actual contents are going to end up being disappointing, at least for whatever they end up charging for it. The other question here, in terms of a collection type deal given recent events, would also be, will this be a time-limited deal? Sadly, I have to assume that would be the case as well. Hopefully, because I'm still of the belief that something will happen by or around that March 31st cutoff date for stuff like 3D All-Stars, where I think the games included are going to be made available in another form, likely I think just separate on their own. So maybe by the time this collection is announced, it's more so something like the collection is limited, maybe, possibly with some extras thrown in, but again, knowing what they've been doing, I highly doubt we'd get much in terms of extras, but I think if we do get a collection and it has a limited time availability, I also think those games will be made available separately at a later date. Again, with all these time-limited releases, I just don't actually see them sticking to removing them entirely, especially in the age of digital. It just doesn't make any sense to just pull these games off the store after those dates. And beyond a collection, I think there will be a bigger release, some sort of remake, but before people get too excited, with this, I also think there are multiple possibilities for how it could go, and the one that I think would be more disappointing, but no less likely, is a Let's Go 2, probably like a Let's Go Johto. Just like with most things that have the Pokemon names slapped on it, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee performed well despite being more of a spin-off, with like those Pokemon Go catching mechanics. Makes me shudder just thinking back to them. So I don't think it'd be at all a surprise if they followed that up with another entry, the natural progression being to go to the next region. And I mean, I'm sure there are people who would like this. Again, the game sold well. When I reviewed it, I said it'd probably be a nice way to introduce people to the franchise, like if you have a really young child or someone who isn't much into games, especially with the co-op, allowing you to kind of carry them along. But I think for the core fans, this would definitely be a disappointment considering the alternative. Also, moving on to the next game, in terms of core remakes, something players have been clamoring for quite a while, those coveted Gen 4 remakes, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Redo them up in essentially, I think, the Sword and Shield style. Obviously, I'd like to see the franchise improve more than that, but trying to keep things realistic, I think they'd be remade to look just like Sword and Shield. And I don't really think that'd be too bad of a thing. Like I said, this is something fans of the series have been waiting for a long time, with an anniversary celebration typically meaning the celebration of the history of the franchise. I don't think there would be a better time to pull the trigger on something like this. And I think it'd also be a step in the right direction in terms of building some goodwill with the player base, who has been pretty badly burned, as I alluded to earlier, with a lot of the decisions being made with Sword and Shield themselves, as well as stuff like the original Pokemon Home debacle, as well as the Pokemon Go transfer service that was announced more recently. Just, yeah, it's time to build back some of that goodwill with the fan base, and I think having this 25th anniversary celebration highlighted by finally giving people the Gen 4 remakes they've been wanting for a long time, that'd be a good start. Also, given this is Pokemon, one of the most popular IPs in the world, and given that we've already seen it happen with recent games like Let's Go and Pokemon Sword and Shield, I think there should be a limited edition Switch that's also released next year. Hopefully a real Switch this time, not another Switch Lite like we saw with Sword and Shield. Maybe even a Switch Pro, if that comes next year, maybe. But I feel like they may keep with the Switch Lite thing, honestly. Specifically, it feels like they use that to get the hardcore Pokemon fans to buy the system. You know, the people who just want all the Pokemon things. It helps them move more of those Switch Lites. The question overall would be, though, what exactly would the theme be? I think it'd be possible for whatever remake we get, like if it's a Let's Go Johto, I think we'd get something like Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee got. Or if it is Gen 4, maybe it's got like the Gen 4 legendaries on it. Also, it could more specifically be just Pokemon's 25th anniversary themed, with like the logo, perhaps a bunch of Pokemon from throughout the years on it. Either way, I hope we get something more akin to the Animal Crossing Switch. That is easily still my favorite one they've done so far, with all the nice stuff they did, even with the dock and everything. So I think they could do some really cool designs regardless of the theme they choose to go with it. And it's not like the Nintendo Switch really needs help flying off the shelves right now, but those limited edition ones, especially if you're going to put Pokemon on it, can't hurt. So yeah, I think there are a lot of great possibilities here. This 25th anniversary deal could be awesome. But at the same time, given the direction of Nintendo as well as the Pokemon Company lately, I can't help but have a lot of fears as to what they're going to do with this. I could easily see this being just an overpriced collection, you know, a Pokemon Let's Go 2. I just feel like that would be such a letdown if it goes that way. But again, the other way, we could get an actual quality collection. I mean, if we got some remake versions in a collection, holy shit, that would be great. Right there, you know, you do the 1, 2, and 3 in a collection remake, and then boom, Gen 4 is like the big Pokemon release of the year. Oh, man, that would be awesome. But again, considering the parties involved, I can't help but think that the cool thing is the least likely to happen. Anyway, with that, this video's a wrap. Yeah, I'm hoping this anniversary celebration ends up being a great one for Pokemon, but I could also see it being pretty weak as well, especially, yeah, given the recent direction of things. But let me know your thoughts on this upcoming celebration in the comments. What would you like to see happen, as well as what do you think we'll actually see happen? Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this discussion of the upcoming Pokemon 25th anniversary celebration. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. And if you want to keep the conversation going, hit me up on Twitter @JohnnyZakari. And join my Discord, ChiGuy and Friends, link to both in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching.